Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to the Prime Real Estate Network podcast, episode 2. Everyone who tuned in last week to our premiere episode, thank you very much. To all of our followers on Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, thank you as well. We've been getting a lot of great positive feedback, and all of the feedback has been absolutely positively appreciated. Once again, I'm your host, Rick Davis. You can follow me on Instagram at Prime Real Estate Rick. Once again, that's Prime Real Estate Rick. As always, I'm here with my partner in real estate grind, also known social media wise and the world renowned as the Texas Real Estate King. And here is my co-host.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that introduction every week, Rick. It is awesome. Hey guys, this is your man Larry W. Brooks, the Texas Real Estate King. I am here. We got a special guest that we're excited to introduce you guys to in a little bit. But beforehand, you can also find me on every social media platform at Texas Real Estate King. I also have a website that you can go to and find out just anything that I have going on, events that may be taking place. You can go to larrywbrooks.com. Go log on there. You're going to find tremendous events. You're going to find different things that, services and opportunities that I offer. But I most definitely am just excited to be here with you another week, guys, just to share. And again, like if you've looked at episodes in the past, you've seen that we're here to help you grow and just bust out a lot of the myths that's going on. So again, thank you for being here. Thank you for tuning in. And again, as Rick said, make sure that you share this with everyone. Share this experience. Share what you get from it. And we're here, Rick.
And we got to introduce our guest. So to the Prime Real Estate Network family, please give us a warm welcome to our guest today, Mr. Michael Lewis with Premier Nation Lending. And how you doing, Mr. Lewis?
Hey, I'm doing great today. I'm glad y'all had me out today. Again, this is Mike Lewis, Premier Nationwide Lending. That mortgage guy with the bow tie. So you can find me on a lot of blogs, a lot of posts on the Mike's Premier Loans, Facebook, Instagram. I'm there, do videos, everything. I'm there to assist and help. And I'm glad to be here today with these great gentlemen to kind of share what we have in this mortgage thing going on today. It's your time. It's your time.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mike. It's such a honor and a pleasure for you to be here on the show today. There's a lot of our Facebook followers, Instagram followers, friends, family that we let know that you were going to be on our show today. So there's been a lot of great questions that I've received, that Larry has received. There's a lot of cool ideas that people are curious to hear how you feel about some of the things that they've heard. As always, we'll have our Fact of the Week Mythbuster segment. With you, I think the great thing about having someone with your knowledge, expertise, and experience on our show today is that we want people to know that there is a podcast where they can meet reputable professionals that are experienced and are open and transparent about some of the inner workings of the lending field or the real estate industry. Mm-hmm. So we want to thank you again from myself and Larry for being here on the show today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So what we're going to do, everyone, is we have a short message from our sponsor. When we return, we'll pick Mr. Lewis's brain about how he started in mortgage lending, how he got to where he is now, and any advice for anyone out there who's looking to invest or actually get into mortgage lending as a career. So we'll be right back after these messages from our sponsor. Welcome back. This is the Prime Real Estate Network. I'm your host, Rick Davis. I'm here today with my co-host, the Texas Real Estate King, Mr. Larry W. Brooks.
Yes, sir.
And our special guest, Mr. Michael Lewis, experienced expert mortgage lender. And what I want to do, and me and Larry are super duper excited to have him here, we want to go into some of Mr. Lewis's background, where he started, and how he got to where he is today. So thanks for being here again, Mike.
Well, thank you again, Larry. Larry and Rick. Sure appreciate y'all, having me out.
Yeah.
My thing started about 14 years ago. I've been 14 years in the business.
Wow.
And when we started back in the old days of mortgage, there were several programs out there. You had stated income, stated asset, subprime, no income, no assets. It was a heyday.
I remember those days. I remember those days.
Absolutely.
It was a heyday, but unfortunately, those things headed us on the wrong track, in the wrong way, and some of the opportunities that were gained were lost by a lot of people.
Yeah.
So during the fall of the mortgage, economic crisis, a lot of things changed. Guidelines got a little stricter. You had to become not just a regular mortgage loan officer. You had to become an expert to be in this field at that time after the mortgage crisis. So I've been in there 14 years, and I survived the whole economic crisis, and a lot of us didn't. Survive that crisis. So during my term in actually working those years, I've learned how to work the different programs as well as I possibly can. I've actually closed 732 loans during my term as a mortgage banker.
That is amazing.
When I started in this realm of mortgage, I started as a mortgage broker, which is a little different than what it is today. Mortgage brokers basically broker out those loans to specific lenders to whatever specialized need that a buyer has. I'm a mortgage banker, and I've been a mortgage banker for about 6 years now. The mortgage banking field is a little different. And to highlight it a little bit, mortgage banking actually, you're not brokering out those loans anymore. You're keeping those loans in-house. You're underwriting them in-house. You're processing them in-house. So, and I have a very helpful assistant. I got to give a shout out to her.
That's right.
My assistant, Crystal. She is the Robin with Batman.
Hey, Crystal, that's right. I get
if I could put a bow tie on her, I would.
Give her flowers while she here, my brother, please.
So basically, my background has been about 14 years, and I've been doing it ever since. And from FHA to VA to USDA to jumbo, we get it all done and get it done as efficient as fast as we can. And the most important thing that we do, we help a lot of people who didn't think that they would become homeowners. And that's the one thing that I take pride in, is for a buyer to say at the end of the process, Mike, I really appreciate it because I didn't think that I can become a homeowner. So that's basically me. That's kind of my spiel.
And not only that, Mike, man, I commend you for the 14 years, because I remember, I've been in 17 myself, and I remember the gravy train, what we call gravy train days, back when you had all of those loan programs that you could choose from, and mix and mingle them however you choose to. And it was like you said, the heydays that actually led to our demise in the long run at that time. But I commend you for just hanging in, man. I remember when the market first started busting out, they had a time clock on how mortgage companies were going out of business. You had losing them like 85, 86. They was counting down as they was going out of business daily. And I remember a whole tracker that they had going on. So for you to be here with us today with that kind of longevity, the experience, and seeing those both sides, from mortgage banking to a mortgage broker, from mortgage broker to mortgage banker, is exciting, man. So I know, if you guys don't know yet, the experience and the energy that you about to get today from Mike Lewis, you have no idea. I guarantee you, I've had an opportunity of our company working with him and actually seeing him in action. So,
no, and this is a great segue, because I would be remiss if I didn't ask you this question. One of the platforms that Larry and I built this podcast on is that we want to educate young people.
Right.
I want to spark an interest in young people to look at real estate not only as an investment vehicle, but as a potential career path.
Right.
And with you speaking on your 14-year career in mortgage lending, could you please just speak to the young people about who was your initial mentor, who sparked an interest in you? And I know, we've all been in the industry more than a decade, but let's go back to the beginning. Last week in our first episode, Larry and I both told our why story.
Right.
Who brought us up, showed us that there was another way, another career path where we could be financially independent and provide for ourselves and our family. So
Right.
who was that person for you?
Right. So it's kind of funny. I had this this guy was starting a mortgage company, and he actually worked out at the same gym I was.
Okay.
And he was like, Mike, I got a couple guys that we're trying to start a mortgage company, and we, wanted to see if you were interested in it. At that time, I wasn't in anything mortgage.
Yeah.
I was a assistant principal at an alternative school. So my track record had been education. I minored in economics, so I'm pretty good. I was pretty good with numbers. But when he brought it to me, I was like, well, I just come by and see what you got to say.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I came to his office, and he was letting me know, what they were doing, how they were doing it, and it just so happened the name of this company was Eland Mortgage.
Okay.
And that's actually the first company I actually started with. Now, when he threw it past the other guys that were part of the company, and he was like, well, I got a couple people I want to bring in. One guy is, Michael Lewis, and they wasn't with it. They was like, this guy has no experience, none at all. So this particular broker called me, and he told me, he said, look, Mike, they're really not into it because this particular mortgage company needed people who had some type of experience in the
background,
mortgage
yeah.
field. So he said, we're going to have a meeting. I need you to come, and I need you to, see if you can convince them. I said, okay, well, now you just jumped in what I do.
He said, I can say it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
I can say it.
Okay. So now we good.
Right.
Yeah.
So I came in, I told them what I can do. I didn't have the experience, but I had that go-get. I had that will to just say, whatever you put in front of me,
Yeah.
I'm going to make the best of it, and I'm going to do the best I can. I'm going to outsell everybody in here. And when they heard me say I was going to outsell everybody, and they was like, okay, yeah, right.
Yeah.
But they said, we're going to take a chance with this kid.
Yeah.
So at that time, I went 3 months, 4th month, top loan officer in the
Oh, wow. You came in not playing.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
the thing is that one thing that I want to express to young people,
Yes.
whatever you do, it doesn't matter what it is, do your best. And make sure everybody else know that you are the best. And I laugh all the time that I get in front of the mirror in the morning and I'm like, who's the best today?
Yeah.
That's me.
Hey.
Time on
I'm
both
right
sides.
with you. You're not by yourself.
Come on,
And-
absolutely.
If you guys can see
and-
me right now, I got my hand up. I'm one of
Yeah,
those people
and
too.
you have to do that on a daily. But if I was to push anything to young people, would be just do your best in whatever platform that you're in. Try your best at it.
And I appreciate those words so much because myself, Larry, we speak with young people. Larry has acted as a mentor. I've served in the same capacity. I'm sure you have some young people that you've mentored over time. And sometimes until young people can actually have that person that they can reach, touch, talk to put a face with an industry, they don't think that it's possible. Now, this is just some things that Larry and I went into in past episode was just from a financial perspective. What type of resources does working in the mortgage industry allow you to have as far as freeing up your spare time? Does it give you more opportunity to spend time with your family? Someone right now who's working a 40-hour week, 9 to 5, who is sitting around thinking, what am I doing with my life? How am I going to up my earnings and free up time for my family? What type of advice would you give them, or what would you tell them to motivate them to make the move that you made, to step out of that comfort zone and think about doing something new that could possibly change their life?
Right. I mean, actually stepping out is really hard. I mean, stepping out on doing anything is really hard. One thing I would say, mortgages, finance is full time.
Absolutely.
It's no breaks in it. It's no holidays. It's no it's at night.
Yeah.
You're working, because the thing is that you have buyers, you have customers who have different availabilities.
Right.
So you have some who are only available in the evening. So you can't just say I'm not going to be available in the evening.
Yeah.
There are some who are only available on the weekends. So you can't say I'm not going to be available. You have to be available at a lot of times. Now you do have some break times in between, but one thing about anything that you consider commission, the drive is your own.
Absolutely.
And I mean, if you want to jump in something that you're going to get some breaks or some time in, is commission is not your best choice, because it's a drive that's continuous, and the people who are driving the hardest will get the most benefit out of it.
Oh, no, absolutely. Now, I want to get down to some of the nitty gritty, because a lot of our followers and people who've been watching have some questions for you. Everyone, you'll have a chance to reach out, send more questions. If you are not able to get your questions in during the episode, you can always reach us again on Instagram, Facebook. One of the questions that our Facebook followers wanted to make sure I asked you is, could you go into how the industry has changed for first-time buyers? The thing about it, and of course, everyone, please reach out to Mr. Lewis via his email. You'll be able to see his email on your screen. He won't be able to get into any real specifics, of course, because everyone's file is a little different. But reach out to Mr. Lewis anytime via his email. If you want to meet with him directly, we can get you in contact with him. Reach out to Larry or myself. But Mr. Lewis, as far as first-time buyers, are there any true baseline advice that you want to give people as far as how to get themselves in position to be pre-qualified with you as far as getting into home ownership?
Right. And I actually specialize in the first-time home buyers.
Oh,
Love first-time home buyers. First-time home buyers are great because you can actually, they're open to being educated on the process. And when you have that openness to be educated in the process, it makes the process a whole lot easier. Now, I want to define what first-time home buyer is in this industry. A lot of people think that first-time home buyer is just saying, I'm just buying my home the first time. Most of these programs define first-time home buyer by income. And that's a little different, because you have some people who are buying a home the first time who don't meet the income requirements for a lot of the first-time home buyer programs. So when we say first-time home buyers, I want everybody to understand that it's just not buying your home the first time. It's actually an income range. And another thing that defines first-time home buyer is the term in which you had your previous home. So if you're outside of 3 years in having a home, it's actually considered a first-time home buyer. Right. Now, as far as programs, I have to say, when I first started back in the day, there are so many programs now. And there are programs that are functionally easier to qualify for. So we go from having regular down payment assistance programs like the counties and the city programs to now we have bond and grant programs. And I want to let everybody know, with the bond and grant programs, we have a special programs department with Premier Nationwide Lending
Yeah.
where we actually do those bond and grant programs in-house, so it doesn't affect your closing or anything.
Wow.
And your qualification is merely based on credit score and income.
Yeah.
And it gives from 3 to 5% down payment assistance. And I was talking to a buyer the other day, and I told her, I say, look, these days there is no excuse.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have an excuse if I don't have enough money.
Oh, wow.
You don't have an excuse where my credit is not high enough.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's so many different avenues and different ways in dealing with buyers who credit is sometimes lower. And there's different ways in dealing with buyers who don't have enough money for down payment.
Yeah.
And with those grant programs, I say, look, grant means free. That's free money that is not expected to be paid back. So those programs, 3 to 5%, just to give an example, you buy a $200,000 house, you get 5% down payment assistance. That's $10,000 towards your closing costs and down payment.
Free band.
So it's free. Now, of course, you know, with these programs, the interest rates are a little bit higher, but hey, $10,000.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of is what it is, and it's so many programs. Take advantage of what's out there and what you have.
I'd agree. Yeah.
Larry, I know you had a question for Mr. Lewis in regards to student loan, how that affects.
Well, yeah, you know, the thing is I was looking at one of your episodes, and I want you to come on here and share the idea about student loans, because here's what happens with that. It's one of those kind of myths, right?
Right.
People are like, oh, okay, if I got student loans, I can't buy a house, or if or I'm not gonna go too in detail because that's your lane, but
Right.
I want you to share your thoughts and a little bit of what you that I saw you, because I follow you on social media, so
Okay.
I know the service, the nuggets that you pass out on a
Right.
consistent basis with people, and I want you to most definitely, before we leave here today, you share that information with people too, so that they know how to follow you, how to get in contact with you in that lane.
Okay.
But yeah, let's share a little bit of that about the student loans.
Please.
Right. Student loans, unfortunately, are one of the biggest debts on
No
the
doubt
credit
about it.
reports when I run them, and it also is one of the so-called detriments when a buyer is trying to buy a house. Because, and I'm gonna go back in the day just a little bit. So previously with student loans, if you had a deferment on your student loans for over 13 months, we were able to defer that payment of that student loan. So we didn't have to count that against your debt. Well, they changed that. And unfortunately, they changed it with FHA and changed it with conventional, that basically if you had a student loan, we have to include the entire debt of the student loan and have a payment of at least 1% of that payment.
Yeah.
Of the student loan. So in other words, if you had $100,000 student loan, we have to include $1,000 monthly debt for that student loan, which scares a lot of people.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'll never get a loan now. Well, the thing is that with those guidelines also, there's another portion of it that if that particular payment that you have is an amortized payment, meaning that payment, if you get it from the student loan company and it will pay out the entire loan, then we'll use that payment instead of the $1,000. Or if it's a conventional loan and you have these programs, and this is another one, if you have student loans, communicate with the people. Pick up the phone and call them.
Please.
Don't just sit there and
Like
hoping
it's
they
gonna go
forgot
away.
about you.
Nah,
They didn't forget. And
They
these
had that
student
interest up on you.
and they sure do. So when you contact them, they got different parts of those programs where you can call them and you can get a income-based repayment plan. And these repayment plans are based on your income. So you may have someone with a payment that's $100,000 student loan may only be paying $20 a month.
Yeah.
So it's no reason to have a default on your student loan or to not pay your student loan. But I brought that out in that if you have a conventional loan, we can actually use that income-based repayment payment if it appears on your credit score. So in other words, if you need that, again, it's no excuse.
Thank you so much. Well, everyone, we're going to have one final break. When we come back from this break, we'll have our Real Estate Mythbusters Fact of the Week. So stay tuned, and we'll be right back after these messages. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for tuning into the Prime Real Estate Network. We've reached our favorite time of the week, and this is the Real Estate Mythbusters Fact of the Week. So I'm going to turn it over to my host, Mr. Larry W. Brooks.
Now, coming from even the real estate side, we hear this question all the time when people are looking and talking about financing in the ways that they can use the money that a lender may provide them. So I want to pose to Mike Lewis this exact thing that we always hear, or just to kind of see what the real thought process on it. So, Mike, I get people that'll come, they'll say, well, look, if I'm able to get a loan and the bank tell me I can get $200,000, but I only want to, I get a house that's $150, can I keep the money? Can I not keep the money? Tell me what your thought process on that. And how do you handle that question when you get it? Because I usually just say, hey, you got to ask Mike. So
Absolutely.
We're going to ask Mike today.
Ask Mike.
Yeah.
Because that's something we get very, very often. So this is that Mythbuster moment.
So now I know who defers those questions to me.
Absolutely.
So when you're pre-approved, that amount is the maximum amount that you qualify for. So if you buy a house 150, you just can't take the 50,000 of the 200 and go put it in your pocket. That means that's the max. Your 150 is the amount that you now qualify for, if that's what it is. But that's a good question, and it's often asked, and I politely explain that.
Yeah.
No, I mean, because the thing about with lending sometimes, Mike, and of course as a lending professional, you get these questions as often, if not more often than me and Larry and myself do, but these things as far as rumor, water cooler talk, things that people talk about at work, how often do clients or prospects that you meet actually say, well, I heard at work from ...
Yeah.
Do you get a lot of pushback sometimes with people when you give them your professional expertise versus what they've already believed to be true from what they've heard out in public?
Right. And what's funny is that we with Larry Brooks and Brooks and Davis, we actually went through this, and I always bring up, I got two people, and I call these two people Leroy and Tay-Tay. Because Leroy and Tay-Tay will get you to the point where you don't want to get a mortgage anymore, because they're giving information that's not real information and that's not pertinent to your particular circumstance. Because what people don't understand is that everybody's situation is different.
Yep.
What someone tells you happened in their particular situation may not necessarily function in yours. So yeah, Leroy and Tay-Tay will mess you up. That's why I always say, any question you have at any part of the day, any part of the night, call me first. So I can give you the direct answer so we can stay on the trail. And Larry already knows as far as mortgages and real estate. If you ask me anything about that contract, look, you need to talk to Larry.
That's right. Stay in our
Because
lanes.
that's the way you stay in your lane, and everybody takes responsibility for their portion.
That's right.
So Larry takes responsibility for his, I take responsibility for mine. Larry calls me and say, Mike, when we closing or why we not closing, I got to take responsibility for it because that's my portion.
I mean, I thank you so much for coming, Mike. When Larry first spoke to me about having you on the show, I was super duper excited. And now that you've been on the show, you've exceeded my wildest expectations. So thank you. On behalf of the Prime Real Estate Network, I want to thank you for being our first guest.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
So thank you so very much. Please tell everyone who's watching our show where they can follow you on social media and keep up with you after the show.
Okay, so I'm on Facebook and I'm on Instagram. So you can go to Mike's Premier Loans, and you can find me on there. As Larry was stating, I do a lot of videos, do a lot of different things. So check me out on there, and you'll always remember me because I'll have the bow tie here,
Absolutely.
and it'll be Mike's Premier Loans. That mortgage guy with the bow tie.
Yes, sir.
Thank y'all for having me.
No doubt,
you.
no doubt, Mike. Hey, this is your man, Larry W. Brooks, the Texas Real Estate King. Of course, you can reach me on every social media platform at Texas Real Estate King. My website is larrywbrooks.com. So thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to share. We're going to have this thing up on iTunes and other podcast networks here pretty soon. And so as you see it comes through your Facebook, Instagram, just share it. I feel like we're going to drop a lot of awesome knowledge that's going to allow someone around you, yourself, to just grow when it comes to knowing real estate.
And once again, thank you very much. Tune in next week at this same time. And remember, every time is a prime time for the Prime Real Estate Network. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm, LLC, offers more value than any other good full-service real estate brokerage firm when it comes to the sale of your home. We offer at least 27 things that contribute to your home selling in the least amount of time at the highest price. To receive our free home selling pamphlet, email us at info@brooksanddavis.com or call 713-665-8329. We also assist people who want to purchase homes or who are interested in getting their real estate license. Visit us at www.brooksanddavis.com.